Hello everyone, this is Mr. Navratil here. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how to create our top 5 poster in the Adobe Express program. So to access Adobe Express, all you need to do is go to your ClassLink, and inside ClassLink underneath the multimedia folder you will find the Adobe Creative Cloud. And once you click on that, you do have to make sure that you are signing in with your school account, your school email, as that is how you're going to be able to actually access Adobe Express. When you get there, you can find yourself on the dashboard here, which we'll get into a second. But what I'd like to do is just kind of share what we're trying to go for with this top 5 poster. I did mine simply on my top 5 favorite foods. So as you go to try and design your poster for this, you can really do your top 5 favorite anything. So it could be your top 5 favorite places, your top 5 favorite sports, top 5 favorite video games, so on and so forth. It doesn't really matter too much about what the context of the poster is. So much more is we're trying to focus on the actual design of it. So I used a template for this, which I'll explain again in a minute. But basically, I have the title of the poster up here, the top 5 favorite foods, and my top 5 is pizza, burger, sushi, bagels with cream cheese, and ramen. And what I'm going to do is try to explain a little bit about how I took this template and made it my own. So if we do find ourselves on the dashboard here, you could hit the plus sign to start a new project, but it does give you some options up front, what kind of templates you're looking for, and we are kind of trying to make a poster-esque type of design. So the poster's here, and I'm just going to go ahead and click, and it will pop up with like a blank poster. And for our purposes, you could start from scratch and add in all the elements that you need, or you could come over to the templates here and try and find something that's going to work for you. Some of these are going to work much better than others for a top 5 poster template. For instance, if we were to click on this one, it is a well-designed poster. It's pretty neat looking. The color scheme is interesting. But if we were going to try and add in items for 5 different things, it would be difficult to kind of fit this form factor, especially with this large arc in the middle. So we're going to go ahead and keep scrolling down. I'm going to try and find the template that I chose for my poster. So this was it. Obviously, this is about something completely different than what we were going for, which was the top 5. And I'm just going to show you kind of simply how I went through to create this instead. So for instance, with the top 5 favorite foods portion up here, I thought it would be cool to take this little white circle and move it up and have that be a separator for the 2 lines of text. So I simply just click on an element that I don't want, so like this pink half circle, and I hit backspace or delete on your keyboard. And we obviously don't need the 2022 thing, so I'm going to click on that and hit delete. And then what I simply did was I took this half circle and I clicked and dragged it up. Now you notice there's these like little guiding lines as I'm placing something, and those are important. They keep things centered. But you also notice like my mouse is going back and forth between the 2 edges, and I do want this right in the center. So if you hold Control on your keyboard and you use the mouse wheel, you're able to actually zoom in a little bit here. You could also use the percentage zooming in function up here as well. But now I have a little bit more freedom like where exactly I want to place this. And you notice there's that middle blue line there. That means that it is directly in the center. So I do want to try and get it there. And I can zoom back out. Now I could go in and add text with all of these different types of templates. So if I wanted to, I could hit this and it would bring in its own kind of formatted text. But what we're trying to do is keep the motif, or we're trying to keep the design the same for the entirety of this poster. So instead what I'll do is I'll come down for a text that actually clashes with the white. So I can take a look at where it says Sunday here. And all I have to do is hit Control C and Control V, and that will put in a separate piece of text that will allow us to actually edit that. So that's just a simple copy and paste. I'll bring it up and click and drag where I want it, and then all I have to do over here is I can change that text. Okay, looks like we need to refresh it real quick. Let's see what happens. sometimes Adobe Express, when you're trying to do multiple things, it kind of bugs out, and you just have to refresh. No big deal. So let's go ahead and hit copy and paste on our text again, and we will bring that up where we had it. And then again, I can come over here and I can change what it says. So for us, we want it to say top 5. Okay. And then I can find another text. Maybe I'm going to zoom in so I can get this to be a little bit more centered. Another text that's going to clash with the blue. So for instance, if we were maybe to do the white here, so I'm going to copy and paste this formatted text, and I can bring that there. So we're going to do top 5 favorite, oops, and then again, favorite foods. And that looks pretty cool. So what you can do also is click and drag how big you want this text, and you can obviously click and drag where you want to place it. But I kind of liked actually exactly how big that was. It took up a good amount of space in this little corner we have here. Good. Now, as we're going through and you're doing your top 5, you do want to try and add in graphics to represent each one of the 5 that you're choosing. And it right off the bat for me, I was thinking my top 5 favorite foods. Pizza is definitely going to be one of them. And this little triangle actually kind of represents that slice of pizza a little bit. So I figured this would be a great start. And you can see I kind of kept that in there. Now you have a couple different options. You could bring in your own photos that you download off the internet. You can bring in photos into Adobe Express and actually remove the background. Or you have another choice of coming over to the left-hand side where it says Design Assets, and we can click there. And you can type in anything you want and see if there's something possibly that there's already on Adobe Express that we can use. So I did use this graphic. It'd be good maybe to take where it says geometric here, we're going to actually change that to pizza first. And then maybe we can kind of get that towards the bottom a little bit more. And I'm just going to simply click on a graphic that I want, and it will automatically add it in. Now, what I ran into was it was clashing with the triangle on the top here, and this is an easy solution. All you need to do is just click on the triangle here, and we can move that over. I can take the pizza image that we have and kind of make that a little bit smaller and move it over so that everything's spaced out accordingly. So there's one. So there's my pizza. Second thing I was thinking was like burgers. I really like burgers, and this round element that's already in our template kind of fit that design a little bit already. So I'm just going to click on where it says art here. We can change that to burgers. We're going to make it a little bit smaller so it fits where we want it to. I'm going to put that kind of closer to the top here. Now I could come over and I could type in burger and see what they have. And some of these might work really well for us. If you can't find a picture that works well. So for instance, when I was trying to do my last, which was ramen, and I can click on that, you'll also notice this is something that we do have access to, but normally we don't. And I'm not trying to copy the same pictures. You can just simply go to Google and type in what you're looking for and then add the word graphic after it. And what that's going to do, so if I just type in ramen and I go to images, it's going to show us a whole bunch of pictures of real ramen, which is totally fine. If you're going to be adding in pictures and you'd rather add in, realistic looking ones, that's great. I'm going for more of like a cartoonish type thing. So if I type in ramen graphic, and then I can go ahead and find something more a little bit like hand drawn. Some of these will work for us, some of them won't. I did end up choosing this image, and I do want to give just a little example of what it looks like to try and remove a background of an image. So if I was to click on this and then right click and hit save image as we normally do, I could just throw that in the desktop here. We could just name it ramen. I already had one, so I'll name it ramen 2, and I will hit save. Now, if I go into Adobe Express and just as I did down here, I want to add that photo in, I could go over to Photos and I can hit Upload Photo. I can find the, let's see here, desktop, and then I can find the picture that we just did was ramen 2 and hit Open. Now, this is the issue when you're trying to bring in images from the internet. This wasn't necessarily a native PNG, which means that there is still a white background. And if I wanted to, actually, I'm on the wrong one here. Let's try that again. Photos. and upload and desktop and Ramen 2 open. Again, has that white background. So if I was trying to try and put this over anything, that white background is going to take up the whatever was kind of behind it to begin with. So instead, what we can do, and let's go ahead and do this with like a burger graphic. Burger. Um, let's say this one here. It looks pretty good. Right click, save image as, and throw that on the desktop, and we can call that burger. If you go into Adobe Express again and you get yourself back to the dashboard here, there are a bunch of different options which have been covered in a different video, but one of them that's really, really useful is the Remove Background tool. So if I hit Remove Background and then click on Browse on your device, you can find the picture that you downloaded, and we went with a WEBP file. That's why. So if you do run into this issue, if we right click and hit Save Image, add something, be careful because sometimes it might be a WEBP file, which unfortunately Adobe does not work well with. So let's just quickly see if we can find another one. Right click on this, Save Image As. Oh, yep, see it's a WEBP file once again. If you really are set on a particular image, you can totally bring that WEBP file into a converter online. So if you type in WEBP to PNG, you can convert the image. But for this purpose, we're just going to try and find one that says JPEG, or we can try and find one that says PNG. So I'm going to throw that on the desktop. Let's just name it Burger 2, and let's try this again. So remove background, browse on your device, and then we'll find our image, Burger 2, and hit open. So what this does is it automatically detects the lines around an image, and it will get rid of that background. So that wasn't a perfect example. Sometimes it works better than others. Let's try this one. So right click, save image as. Oh, we're running into some bad luck here. This one's a little bit more realistic that I'm looking for, but for the purposes of the just moving forward here, let's see if we can try this one out. Save image as. Okay, so we got a burger 3, and we're gonna give this one let's go. Remove background. We're gonna hit browse on your device. Burger 3. And what that should do for us is actually get rid of the background. Excellent. Okay, so I'm hit download. And when I do that, it will automatically send that file to another Adobe Express file and it will download it for us. So this is just called My Project 2. So if we go to Adobe Express and we hit the Photos button, and then we can hit Upload Photo, and we can find Burgers 3. It was actually in our downloads now, so My Project 2. And now we're looking at an image that doesn't have a background. So basically this won't get in the way of everything. Again, I'm not sure if I'd actually go with this picture because it's a little bit too realistic for what we're going for. But it was really just to try and showcase the remove background feature. So if we go back into my example project, which was this one, you can see I kind of just messed around with the shapes a little bit, some of the text color, some of the text size, and just positioning everything where it should be. So we had the pizza, the burger, sushi, cream cheese, and ramen. Some of these images were found underneath the design assets. Some of them were found online, and I removed the background. But I think it came out pretty good overall. Now, keep in mind, this is literally just one out of a billion different types of design choices. If we were to go back and hit poster again, and you were to start with a different template, let's see if we can find another one that might fit the top 5 idea here pretty well. So possibly something like this. Now you can imagine that if we were to start going in here and changing all of these design elements, it would look totally different from what I was going for. So if I was going to go for this right off the bat, it would be probably not about yoga at all. Maybe we could do instead, if I double click on this text here, it would be favorite movies. And instead of this random middle school, I double click there, I could type in Mr. Navratyl's favorite movies, right? And so it's not about yoga anymore, so we could simply click on images or design assets that we just don't need. So we can get rid of that kind of stuff. Oops. And then you could simply come in and start editing this text, maybe add in a picture about it, and then the title of the movie, and so on and so forth. So this would look completely different from what I was kind of showcasing as mine. So, top five favorite poster. Again, it can be about anything. When you are done with this project, what you should do is come up where it says download here. And you can use any one of these formats. It doesn't really matter too much. PDF is a good one. JPEG's not bad either. And then you could hit start download. And all you would simply need to do is find the Google Doc that's attached to the Google Classroom assignment, and you would take that picture and you'd post it on that Google Doc, and then finally you would link that over to your master creator checklist. So that's just kind of a quick rundown about how to create the top 5 poster in Adobe Express.